Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Jersey, and today, first I did a mistake. I thought I was recording the whole time, so I did miss some steps in the beginning. So what you see in the background, that right there, I really thought I was recording and I wasn't. So that was my bad. But okay, welcome back. So on today's video, we're gonna be working on, it's gonna be all the transitions, how to go from this area to the next area, because we're gonna try to make it from right here where we're starting, we're gonna make it all the way finally to the front of the coastal town. That whole left side, when we walk into the coastal town, and if you look to the left, there's nothing. We're finally gonna be extending the whole coastal town area, so we can finally start kind of shaping up the coastal town, like seeing where we're at, seeing what we need to do, what we need to add, where are the roads are gonna be leading, because that's the next thing, is how are my roads are gonna keep expanding. Are we gonna go here? Are we gonna go that way? Are we gonna go left? We're gonna go right? Am I gonna have bridges? No bridges? Do I want a river here? Do I want the water here? Like, all those questions are finally gonna be answered in this video. Okay, so first, my first idea, and I knew this was coming, it was gonna be another cul-de-sac. This one is gonna be actually smaller. I couldn't make it as big as the one we did previously, especially having something big in the middle, because I already have this wall right over here, so I knew it was gonna be smaller. So it came out nicely, just enough to make it. I don't know what I wanna put right in the middle. I'm still very undecided. I could still go with something very simple or nothing at all. So as I keep thinking about it, we'll see eventually if I end up putting something there or not. But the main thing is all transition, and in this build and in this video, we're gonna see how many times trial and error I go through. And I can tell you already ahead of time, I still need to figure out some areas that I'm still not very happy even by the end of the video. It's just things that are not looking the way I feel it should look. It's not working the way it should work, and we're gonna have to like take some things down, kind of redo it, kind of keep playing around with the area, and that will be for the next video. But on this one, we're still building, right? So we're gonna be building a cul-de-sac, and after the cul-de-sac, we're gonna have another road that's gonna attach. So I'm trying to figure out right here is how far do I want to stretch this section out. Like, okay, so I got my sidewalk. You see the sidewalk going around the cul-de-sac, and do I want my sidewalk to be thicker, or do I want it to be just one lane and then just close it out with some palm trees, bushes, flowers, and all of that? I'm just trying to work my head around a lot of these ideas. One of the main issues that I found as I was working was that my initial thought, my initial idea, I had to kind of change them, because I decided that I wanted to keep the birds that are on this mountain right over here that you see. I don't want them to go away. I don't want it to despawn, for them not to be able to spawn anymore. I just don't want it to go away, right? So what ended up happening is my initial layout, all the papers that I had, all the idea for that middle section, all of that has kind of make a little bit of a jumble in my design. So a lot of this design that already kind of had the idea written down, I had it on my notebook that I've been showing you guys pictures the other day, is I had to tweak them as I was working on it. And we'll talk more about that once we get closer to that area, and what changes are gonna come, what we have to do, why I still feel like I want to redo some area, because since I was keeping that section now of the map, just keeping that whole mountain, is I have to rethink sections and ideas and how to make them work and how to make things flow better, because for me flow is a very important thing. I need visually, when I'm seeing, like, everything flows in a good way, like it just works, you know, and everything makes sense, and it's just pretty to see, it's a good design and all of that. But okay, so I decided in the cul-de-sac I was just gonna keep the one sidewalk, just instead of making it double or anything like that, I'm just gonna keep it nice and simple. I don't want to really overdo it. And now I'm just kind of working on the transition of the tree line, you know. I kind of want to duplicate what I have on the front just a little bit, just the spacing, the layout. So, and I'm using the more different palm trees just back and forth. I'm adding some of the yellow bushes now, so that we have a little more yellow with the purple, and kind of to break things a little bit more. And then I'm just kind of like spacing things a little more out, a little more of the palm trees, a little more space out. So that way when they grow, it just kind of, you can see through it, you know, but at the same time with everything in between it, just kind of filling up the area, so it looks a little more full. At the end of the video, and on this build, you're gonna notice that there's no item decorating, there's no I didn't get to work on the lights, we didn't get to work on none of that. Mainly on this video is all about the layout, transitioning from one section to the next section. Where are we gonna place the next building in this coastal town? Because the coastal town, it's been coming out great, right? We got builds, we got section, but it's lacking on building and on the buildings, on the NPCs. So I want to keep bringing a couple more things in as I keep thinking about it. You know, I'm still thinking about the back one. We're gonna be adding one right over here in this section. By the end of the video, we're gonna see the location where we're gonna put an NPC. I'm still thinking which one I want to bring in, but the good thing is we're finally getting areas that we are gonna be moving in our NPCs. We're gonna be putting the locations, and they're gonna have their areas, and that way we can start making this town also feel a little more alive. But yeah, but again, this is all about transitioning, just working, going from one area to the next, looking at it from different directions and see what works best. So now over here, I'm trying to also fill this spot with sand. And in this video, again, you're gonna see back and forth, moving there, moving this, how wide do I want it? I'm trying to think because I kind of, at first, let's think about it this way. I wanted to keep the river and I wanted to keep all this water, right? But then I made the decision, looking at the map, a lot of this was a little shallow and all that, and then I have another river coming around, so I decided, instead of keeping all this water that's in front of this area, I decided that I was gonna fill it up. So this is one of my first time filling up a big chunk of body of water, and just kind of closing that up. But as I was working and all of that, I decided instead of just filling it up, I was gonna add bridges at certain points of the build, and we're gonna talk about that once we get there. And then, because I still wanted the boats to go around, I still wanted to have all these water channels or water canals, and just in different areas, I wanted to be able to go around the different bridges and everything be connected through water. If you want to go around the island, you can still make it even through water, but at the same time, I still want to be able to reach the different places in the island by walking or by motorbike. That way, in any direction, in any way you want to approach it, you can reach any area. So the layout just started evolving as I was putting it down. You know, what I have in my notebook was one thing. I made decisions that I decided now to keep this section over here. Now I wanted to keep that over there. So now I'm gonna fill all this water. So I'm trying to do the layout that I created, that I like, the idea behind it, but we're gonna leave more water to it at the same time, but also filling up some of the water. So it's kind of like a give and take in many ways. So okay, so let's come back to what we're doing. So here I haven't decided how wide do I still want it to go. So it's kind of like a slow build process, deciding how much I still want to go towards the side over here. So right now from the sidewalk I went too wide from every tile, just so that way I can kind of keep the shape and the roundness of the cul-de-sac. So when you look at the map, it still looks good. I don't want it just to be just square at the moment. And again, I'm trying to just space out the different bushes, flowers, greenery, palm trees, just kind of like give and go, give selection. There's not an exact science. I'm just kind of like picturing them being full and how will kind of look in my mind. and just kind of throwing things, you know, and just putting this here, putting this one here. Just go with the flow. So if you are doing this as well and you're approaching it and you're trying to fill some areas, just kind of try to imagine what it will look like, what it will look full. The good thing with all these plants and everything is once they're grown, there's something off that you don't like, you want to change it, just take it down, plant another one, see how it looks. Don't like it, just redo it. And that's a good thing with landscaping. It's just easier to just work around with your landscaping. The most important, I do believe, is the layout. Unless there's something wrong in the layout that is not working for you as you're building, and it's also affecting your landscaping, then you work on your layout. But landscaping, the benefit of it is that as if something you don't like, there's something off, it could be a tree, it could be a palm tree, just take it down, plant it somewhere else, refill that spot with something else, and see how the flow is going of your landscaping. And I think that's a good approach. As you see here, I still have some empty spaces. I took kind of like a flower. I want to now have a little yellow bush instead of having so much purple. And then just, you know, you go back and you go back and forth. Feel free to do that. Don't worry about it. You know, just that's what we need to do when it comes to designing. When it comes to item placement, it's trial and error. And especially if you feel there's something off, just trying to find what it is. Just play around with your build, and that's gonna help you so much. And the more you do it, the more satisfied you're gonna feel, the more used to you're gonna get to give it a try, especially when you notice, you feel that there's something off. Okay, so now we're looking from up high. Like always look at your build in different angles as much as you can. That way, it's not just to see if everything looks pretty, but I do feel like proportions is very important, at least for the style of builds that I do. You know, I want things to feel proportional to the character, proportional to the area. So, and I want the feel of the areas to feel kind of the same across the town. Unless it's that specific build that requires something big, and then that makes sense. But to me, it's always important just to make sure that if I'm looking for from up high and I'm like, man, that looks tiny for whatever reason, then I want to try to figure that out before I keep expanding the layout and the transition to the next section. Okay, so here is one of the main important parts, and this is where a lot of my design starting to change. Is this row. This row originally was gonna go parallel all the way across, you know. So I'm kind of trying to set up where it's gonna be the next sidewalk, because my rows are usually 4 wide, so I count 4 wide. Then I was trying to decide what's gonna be the end of the row, and I was playing with that, because the end of the row going towards this way is gonna have a dead end. But once we go towards that mountain, the row was supposed to go all the way across, right? And if you think back of my build, there's a double bridge that is just hanging there waiting right next to the mountain, and then this row was supposed to connect to that, and it takes you all the way across under the overpass to the next double bridge that takes you all the way across the other side of the coastal town. Now, the more I've been learning about Dinkum, doing island tours, and learning from you guys, I started realizing that if you destroy some of the spawning areas of the animals, they're not gonna spawn. And that's when my kind of the debate in me starting to happen. I said, man, do I want to lose the spawn points? Do I want to lose the bird? I think I want to have a little more nature included in my builds, especially the wildlife. I wanted to, that way we have a little more movement. So what ended up happening is I decided to not take down the whole mountain, leave the birds up there, follow the spawn point, and I gotta do a little workaround. And that's when my design from originally what I have in my notebook to what we're gonna do here is starting to change. So here, at first, I was gonna fill this up, you know, because the road, there's gonna be a road that's gonna go straight down, right? And what ended up happening is as I was building that and making already the first across, I was like, you know what? I think I may prefer a bridge, because I think I want to be able to still go have this water, the rivers and all that, and be able to use the boats, be able to use jet skis, still to match the rest of the coastal town, to match all those areas that we have already built. So and this slowly it started kind of tweaking my designs, my original idea, because then I was like, other ideas starting to come in play, and I was like, okay, well, let me do this, or let me try that. And since the idea came in my head and I knew it was gonna stay around, it was just gonna linger there, and I wouldn't regret not trying it. So here we are. We are gonna be trying the bridge. So originally I went with just 2 wide. It was just gonna be a 2 wide bridge, and that was gonna be it. Just a single bridge instead of doing my normal double bridge, right? But then the more I thought about it, and I was trying to decide if I wanted just to go with a single, because now for me single feels more like a pedestrian kind of bridge, like, oh, this is just for people to walk and all of that, and that would have been it. But the double bridge for me feels more like you got one way, and then like one is for people walking one way and the other people walking the other way. It feels wider, it feels more industrial in many ways, just feels big. I like having the double bridge when you go under things, like with the jet ski or the boats. It just makes it feel a little bit better. And I had to play around with that idea, and then knowing now that we're getting ramps and all that, I wanted to be able to tie in my roads a little bit better with the ramps, to see how we can make that work. So instead of doing and we're gonna do all this work that you're seeing, and it's gonna be single at first, we're gonna put it down and all that, but at the very end I ended up working and redoing all of this. We're gonna keep tweaking it, and then ended up being a double bridge. We fixed a platform that I was not very happy with. We're gonna get there, we're gonna see it. It wasn't feeling right, and this is something in this particular video today that we're watching. There's a lot of stuff that I'm still not happy to the very end of the video. You know, there's sections that I still want to work on. There's still sections that I want to try to keep working, keep tweaking, keep redoing it, because it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel finished. It feels like I'm just like I'm in a hurry. I'm just like busy, and I remember I was playing and I was building, and I was like, you know what, I need to take a break. I need to come back the next day. I need to come back with a fresh set of eyes. So that's when I decided I had long enough, and then I noticed that I had, between a couple of days of recording, I already had enough footage for this video, and this video came out long. It's gonna be over an hour long video of all this, just working on the layout, just working on the progress. And the next video is still part of it. It's still gonna be working on the layout, still expanding. There's still areas that I still feel like it needs a little more palm trees or a little more foliage, and I want to work on this curve, I want to work on this section, and all of that. But that night that I was working so much and getting a lot more stuff, I think I needed that break. I needed that moment of just step back, go to bed, go to sleep, wake up the next day, and then I'm working now. The following day, I'm working on the video, working on the voiceover, and watching the video, watching the thing, watching the video as I was working and editing it, and I started feeling better ideas coming, ideas that I can use to fix. And I think that's something that we started to talk about during our previous video, is having that moment to step back. You know, sometimes when we work 2, 3, 4, 5 hours in a build, you know, I think your brain does get tired, you know, and we're still working because we're still motivated, but I do feel like you need that break, that little pause, that little reset, freshness, come back, so then we can start thinking the right way. At least for me, I do feel like if I play for such a long period of time, especially designing, I feel like compromises starts coming. You know, you're tired. Even if you don't truly feel like you're tired, I do believe that mentally, and the hurriness, and then we don't wanna like, I just did all this work. Do I really want to redo this? No, it looks fine. I'm just gonna keep it the way it is. And I think that's what I mean, that I feel like we start compromising. So I do feel I'm starting to figure out that if I'm designing and I'm just straight designing, I feel like for me right now it's working like between 1 hour to 2 hours straight, just straight designing is good enough. you know, and I'm finding that out more. The more I play, the more I'm designing this big build, this big transition, these big areas. I'm finding that out, that after 1 hour, maybe 2, is a good time to take a break. And if you want to keep playing Dinkum, then maybe go on quests, start like building your materials, you know, take that break from designing, take a moment, step back, let your mind relax, let everything just calm down, do a little questing, do a little thing, raise your friendship with your area, with your villagers. Go ahead and start crafting all the stuff that you know you're gonna need for to continue to do the build that you're working on. And then from there on, come back, and if you feel refreshed, you feel ready, then come back and keep tackling your build. And I think that's one of my new approaches that I'm gonna start doing, is having that little break in between the builds, so I can feel refreshed and I don't feel like I'm just pushing the build because I just want to get it done, you know. Okay, so here we are. So as you saw, I know I went a little long there on my new idea of how to take breaks when I'm working. So we got the road. So this is the road originally that was gonna go across, and it was gonna go through the mountain. It's gonna be parallel. It's gonna make it to the bridges that I originally had. Now I want to keep the birds, so now this road is supposed to curve. And the idea before that was gonna go straight, and then I was gonna put a building more in the middle. But now that I'm having the road curve in, and it's gonna go then towards the front as well. So the building came a little more closer here. And once we get more closer to that portion of the video, we're gonna talk a little more about that. What do I feel where the building's at? Do I feel like I need to move it and tweak it and stuff like that? But we're not there yet. So here is when I started deciding, you know what? I think I want, with ramps that are coming, with the next update that we are all so excited about, and I think I still want the double bridge, just in case I want to rework this in the future and use the ramps, so that way now that the ramps will match whatever you have on the bottom, they will look like cobblestone. So it feels like it's just you're gonna curve in and you got the ramp, so it just matches and goes up, and then you're gonna hit the bridge. And I think all of that's gonna work well together, at least in my mind, visually. You know, we're gonna have to put all this down. We're gonna try all the things out as we get the new update, and to see how we can make it work. So I decided to go with the double bridge, so I'm gonna have to rework this. And then here, slowly, I make this type of platform because I was trying to make it work, make it better, and then I ended up not liking it at all. And that's one of those things that, you know, you're building, you have this idea, you get to the point, and you do all the work. And this is why, to me, it's very important for you guys to know that it's, even though we put in the hours, even though we put in the work, you know, especially if you don't like it, you know, if you like it, great. But if you don't like it, it's okay. Take it all down, you know. Yeah, it's a pain. It takes time to take things down, all that work, all those times that you just were there and working and filling all this up and filling all this dirt and all this sand to have to take it all down. It could be something that turns you off and you're like, I don't want to do that. I'll keep it the way it is. But I want to keep encouraging you, keep motivating you to really do the builds that you want to do, that you want to just build, you know. And even if it takes time, even if it takes hours just to get it done, I want you to feel confident enough that to take it down and just redo it, because at the end, I promise you, at the end, you are gonna be more happy. Okay, so now, as you're seeing, I'm just moving things with the shovel. I'm just kind of gonna keep working this area. We're just gonna keep moving it, working with the ideas that at first, originally, I kind of wanted to keep doing, and just kind of shifting things around so we can make these stairs and the bridges just work in a specific way. As I continue to work on something that I feel like is not quite there yet, you know. It's one of those things. It just takes time, trial and error. We just gotta keep working it, and then kind of working on this curve, just to keep working on this layout, just to keep working on this idea, this design, this build, because to me right now, one of the most important things especially on this video, it was finally getting this layout kind of more completed, kind of more connecting this section to the front of the coastal town. So then we can work on all the other stuff that we need to keep working on. So here we're back, I'm still kind of working on this corner, and the corner is, you know, it's one of those things, you know, I just was never in love with it. It just was not working. It wasn't feeling right the whole time. And if you're new here, if this is your first video that you're watching, if you here been here and watching and following up the series, you know that a lot of my builds are done by feeling. And what I mean by feeling is, when I'm looking at it, it makes me happy. It makes me smile. I'm happy with what's being created. I don't feel like I compromised. I don't feel like I'm just like, it is what it is, leave it that way, you know. For me, it's always gonna be a feeling. It's the same way when I place the items. It's the same way when you place just anything that you're placing on the ground, the decoration, the trees, the flower. Could be a chair, could be a cushion, a boat even, you know, just moving it a little bit, like just moving things an inch. It can make a big difference for you, you know, and for me. And that's what I mean by feeling. And when I'm designing, truly is always guided by this feeling that, okay, I like this, okay, I don't like this, oh, this is good enough, and maybe I'll come back and rework it in the future. And that's how I'm kind of guided. And here, this section was just feeling this platform was feeling blocky, you know. And then having to add this little extra layer right here that I'm gonna start doing, it just made it even blockier. It wasn't feeling right. And then one of the things that I started realizing is like, okay, then maybe I just need to make this section a little deeper, make it a little wider, take this curve from the bridge to see if by opening it up and make it look like it's deeper, making it look like it's a little more wider, let me see if that makes it feel a little bit better. But it didn't do it. It wasn't working for me, you know. And so what I ended up doing and realizing later on, as I was walking the island, I realized that one, I made this bridge 1 square more higher than it needed to be. I went 3 high, and it just needed to be 2 high from the first level that's above the water, right? So I needed to go 2 to match the other ones that I got in front of the island, that I just want the jet ski and the rowboat, just those items to go underneath the bridge. Because the sailboats, they're not gonna travel through here. It's just rowboats and jet skis. And once I realized that, I was able to lower everything down. That meant that my stairs were less. That means that the bill didn't have to be this big. And then I started realizing that I wanted the bridge to start more with the sidewalk, especially in that section that over there, that it was a little more blocky. And once I realized those that I needed to change, it really started making the build work towards the advantage. Now, I will let you a little bit ahead of time that we're gonna see that work done, because I was on my lunch break at work, you know. So you have heard I have the Steam Deck, so I do my lunchtime, either sometimes my crafting materials, sometimes lately I've been doing a lot of off-camera test runs on builds, just to see how it will look like. That way I have an idea and just try things out during my lunchtime, and I can kind of tweak the build to see what changes I can do. And I was able to kind of fix the bridge to make it feel more comfortable, and to the point that I was like, okay, I like this. It may still need to do a little bit of work, it may still need a little tweak, but the main thing, that way I can kind of move on for now to another section and then come back to this point again. So during that lunch break, I was able to manage to make the bridge look the way I kind of wanted to look more, and fit more the aesthetic of the coastal town. And then I had a decision to make. I was like, man, I did all this work, and it's just tedious work that I was like, I know you guys like to see it and those changes, but basically I figured that I can just talk about the changes, that it was very easy to do, and instead of me having to do all that tedious work and again Normally I don't mind it, but I was kind of like a little burnout on the bridge, like because I was truly not happy with it. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna explain what happened, how I did it. It wasn't my lunchtime. I was, through the Steam Deck I can't record another video, so I was like, I'm just gonna explain, and it was very easy. So basically, is the first thing I needed to do was to lower the bridges. So here we're finally gonna be connecting these bridges, and this is after work. I came back home. Now I'm recording again on the main computer, and if you look, at some point we're gonna see the camera's gonna expand and we're gonna walk over there, and you're gonna see that that bridge over there is finally done. That's why I'm able to start working on this one. And this one, the same idea. Now that I figure out that I needed just to go too high, once you're above the water, I wasn't making the same mistake that I was doing on the other one. So, and that helped me so much more just to tie it in over here, and the bridge, it reached from right here all the way to the end, and now slowly, finally, the town. And you see, there it is. See the bridge, how it's a little lower, looks better. There's a little less stairs. See this corner right here? Oh, it just flows. It feels better. Even when I'm looking at it from over here, it just looks good, and it just worked out great. Now I will tell you that maybe as you see the road goes from 4 to 3. I may have to change that at the moment, depending on the ramps, how the ramps look, how everything's gonna work, and all of that. It could be on the next video. Maybe I do still wanna fix it, so it's just 4 all the way in. But I finally was able to fix it enough so I can move on from there for a while and work on here. So here, it was great. Now that I knew what's gonna go too high, I was able to make this bridge that's gonna connect over here, that we're gonna build another road that's gonna finally connect that connects it to the bridge, and now we finally like this walkway, right? Because the goal of the coastal town always has been to be able to walk it in any direction, being able to get to the town in many different ways to different places, but at the same time, I'm building this coastal town that has like rivers and water and all different sections, and I want to be able to get around the island, the little town as well, with boat roads or jet skis, and that was important to me. So I wanted to make sure. That's why this town, particularly the coastal town, has a lot of bridges. I think that way we can get across the water, keep the river, keep some of the land. That way we can continue just to make the town more interesting. At the same time, I think the bridges give it this little more characteristic to the town and a little more build to it. But here we are, we're finally building the roads, we're finally connecting things, we got the curve, we got the idea, and everything slowly, finally is coming together. The design, the idea coming from what I really wanted to do, save the mountain, how we're gonna move there, because a lot of this build kind of shifted more now to the corner of the town instead of part of it being in the middle the way I originally intended. But with the waterfalls coming, learning about the spawn points of the animals, that if you actually take it all out, they don't come back. So that played a lot of my decision making, and I wanted to make sure that I was gonna make the right choices. And I kind of feel like a good waterfall in that mountain just for the initial test runs when we get them. I know everybody's gonna be building waterfall. It's gonna be like the next big thing in Dinkum, right? There's gonna be so many videos, people making waterfall. It's gonna be insane and amazing, because I think that's gonna bring a lot of people into Dinkum to play the game. The community is gonna grow. It's exciting. But I think at least I have a little section that I'll be able to test just to see, simple, straight to the point. I think it may look good, may not look good, good place to test. But then after that, then we're gonna work on actual builds and design how to incorporate waterfall into the town landscape. And I think that's something that's gonna be fun. I think I'm looking forward that a lot towards the forest town area, because it's gonna be very foresty, very heavy on nature, and I think that's gonna work really well to have all these natural, trying to make it feel more natural waterfalls happening. But that's a whole different town, that's a whole different mentality, that's a whole different design approach that we're gonna do once we get to that section of the town. Okay, so here So we got the sidewalk. We finally work on the fence, you know. And on this one, I went with my old school design: hedges, fence, hedges, fence, hedges, fence. I haven't done that in a while, especially in the coastal town. It's been a little more straightforward. But here, I wanted a little bit of more design. Let's just use that word: a little more design, a little more body to it. Not just straight fence. Let's bring a little bit greenery here. And then the next thing I wanted to try, it may stay, may not stay, is what you're seeing right now, right? Instead of raising this all the way up and seeing the sand and then planting, I decided just to see how it will look, I'm gonna plant all of this under the water and let it grow and have this water come in and see how that feels, see how that looks. Maybe just to have, maybe for the map, it will look cool in the design. Maybe even in aesthetically over here, it will look good. So I'm gonna keep it for now. We're gonna keep it the way it is, just to see if I ended up liking. Now, if by the next video, this could be gone. Maybe I decide not to, with a fresh set of eyes, with a fresh mindset. I may not like it. I may want to change that and just make it all even with the dirt. Maybe I don't like it the way everything grows. Maybe once I place the building and the decorations, it just doesn't fit. Now, it goes both direction. You like it, you love it. You may look at it right now and you may hate it. And you're like, whoa, that's bad idea, bad design. And then if you're following along on the series, you're imitating part of this build, you're imitating part of this idea, they do it the way you feel like doing it, because that's what I want. I want you guys to build the builds that you guys want to do. I'm just here just to help you along, give you a little motivation, give you a little inspiration, you know, give you a little idea how you can take one build and transition to another build. That's why my layouts are here. It's just for you to kind of get an idea and then make it happen and make it your way, because that's how you're gonna be happy. At the very end, that's what's gonna make you happy. So this corner here, I may still need to rework. I'm still looking at some of the landscaping. I'm working on here, but taking that motorbike just full speed there and just going over the bridge, taking the curve, taking the road over the bridge again. It's nice finally having the town more, this part of the town, because we've been having more of the middle completed, a little more of the backside, and now working on this left corner of the map of the coastal town, getting more of it together, is finally getting the feel of what we're having a full-fledged town built, you know. And we still gotta work on the right side, you know, because we got the middle, we gotta work on the right side. And that right side, I still got one big build that I know it's a must, you know, even with the update coming and all the new items and who knows what we're getting, and there's gonna be so many ideas. But I still have this idea of the coastal town that I want to do. But one thing, I don't have the measurements of the sailboats, you know, the new boats, and those boats are part of the idea that I want to do, to see if I can make it happen. But I need the measurements of the boats to see if I can work on this build that I want to create. And I don't even know if it can be done, if I can make it happen. It's gonna be a lot of trial and error. It's gonna be a fun build if it works, and if not, then I gotta figure something out how to make it work. And that's part of the challenging. I think that's what makes Dinkum great, is I want to do something. How can we make it happen? You know, and how can we make it happen in Dinkum? And I think that's something that it really has attracted a lot of people to play the game, right? It's the idea of being able to do something in game that may not be able to be done, but if you can make it happen, how cool is it? How cool it is. Okay, so now this build right here, this is where we're gonna put the next NPC, the next build, house, whatever we want to put is gonna go right here. Originally, this was more centered to where kind of the mountain is, but like I keep saying, I decided to keep it, so things have shifted. So I decided to put the building here. I want to have the water. I want to be able to go around the water, go around here. We're gonna have another bridge that's gonna connect to the front. So this is this little outline that I did here. Instead of filling it up completely, I did the outline. I wanted to see if by doing the outline, if I was gonna hate it or not hate it. Then I needed to do, the next thing was, okay, so the first outline, the first square, is the actual plaza where the building's gonna sit, right? And then I wanna have a little bit of a, you know, couple trees, maybe a little hedges to mark the entryway, and kind of have a little bit of a, you know, garden, lush trees, little greenery. And then from there the bridge is gonna tie into the front of the road. And that's kind of like the mindset, right? So here, that little line right there is the corner entry. So we're gonna have two entryways. That right there where I'm kind of standing, that's gonna be like one entryway right there, and then the one in the front. Now I think one thing that I'm already kind of leaning to is this entryway that I did it more in the corner, in the bottom. I think that I'm gonna move that more towards the middle of the bill on this side, but more kind of find the middle and make it there. So when you curve in from the road, you can get in instead of being from the corner. There's something in the corner that I don't like, but as I go back and this area, I'm gonna have to walk it with a fresh mind, fresh set of eyes, and see what I truly really want to do, things that I ended up not liking at the very end of this video. How do I want to approach it? What's the new ideas? How can I fix it? Where is my heart leading me into the build to do the changes that I need to do to make the transition and make the flow of the town even better? And that's always my goal. My goal is always to make these layouts of the towns that have different type of road, different types of way to get in and out, and that's what I like. You know what? Right now I'm a sucker for town layouts. It's just I have the most fun creating layouts. You know, there's amazing builds that we can make and structures and stuff like that, but there's something about creating roads and the layout, and it just takes you from this section of the island to another section of the island, or you have this little build and then a road right behind it that curves in that takes you to the other side, and then you go up the hill and then here's another build. Like, there's something about that I'm truly enjoying in Dinkum so much, and it's something that I'm truly enjoying, and I can't wait to start another town, and then another town, and another town, and maybe that's what my channel becomes. All these town layouts, all this transition from one build, and how we're gonna transition to that build to the next build with cool roads, cool layouts, cool designs, cool ways to go around with nature and trees and this, and what can we build in between those little things. And I think that's right now, that's what I'm enjoying so much in Dinkum, and it's just creating that city town aspect layout. It's been a game changer for me, and that's why I'm hooked in Dinkum. I just can't move on to another game because I'm hooked. I'm just hooked on creating these cool layouts. Okay, so here we are. So now this is, I kind of wanted to make this another bridge. I know I have a lot of bridges, but I just feel it's cool, especially in the coastal town when we go around with the jet skis and all that. It's just cool. So I wanted this little bridge that's gonna connect from this, and this gonna take you to the main entrance of the build. So imagine everything is filled and all that. So I put the brick bridge because I'm testing it out, and I made this whole platform that we're gonna fill up right here. It's gonna make a brick, but I ended up liking the brick platform just to make it look a little bit different, and it's surrounded by water. A brick is I just feel like it could be good for the water and all that, and just kind of give a little other type of texture to it. But I did not like the brick bridge. It just aesthetically, I don't know, I just didn't like it. Just put it out. I just didn't like the look of it. And what ended up happening is I ended up putting the palm wood. Now, palm wood leading to a brick platform, I don't know yet. I'm gonna look at it again, see what I feel, and I'm gonna be reading all your feedbacks, all your comments. You know, you guys know that I love it. I like to hear all the different point of views. You know, why I haven't thought of, first of all, you know, you guys always point it out in different ways, in different scenario, positive or negative, things that I've not thought about. So that's one thing that I'm looking forward. Seeing the idea, seeing all of you got different opinions about color combination, about aesthetically what looks better with what, and I'm excited to read about that. And this is why one of the benefits of creating the videos, the way my schedule allows me, is that gives time for you guys to see the video, get the feedback, and then for me to read the feedback before I even start working on the next section. So it's always works out nicely, and maybe a little bit to my benefit, that I can actually have that input before I start working on the next stage of the video. So because I get to read your feedback, you know, your comment, positive or negative, it doesn't matter. To me, it's always gonna be good to read, because it just it opens my mind to all different possibilities, combinations, layouts, anything that you guys bring up. So I always look forward to that. So I like that. So okay, so we got the brick. I still feel like the brick looks good, but it could be that I'm still, once I walk it again, I will know for sure and to see. Then I added this sidewalk. I think I ended up in the end I'm gonna take the sidewalk off, and I'm kind of playing around with this feel. Sometimes I feel like one side is not finished, one side is finished. Maybe because I'm wrapping around over here. Maybe I take all the plants and all that. But what I did here is I started imagining to make it feel a little more complete compared with the other side that we got palm trees and the hedges and all of that over there. I made a tiny dock. Just it's not even a dock. It's just kind of like where you can just tie up your boats, right, or your jet ski. So kind of like a little parking lot and I'm still playing around with this area, and this is one of those things that I was explaining in the very beginning of the video. There's still some sections. Maybe this I need to move it, shift it one more towards the right. Maybe not. Maybe the bridge I need to move it more towards the left so I can have a little more space. So there are some things that I still need to work. That way I want to feel completely happy with it, and I don't know how I'm going to approach it. So part 2 or video 2, I don't know if I can call it part 2, but working on the next video will be very interesting, where my mind, where all your feedback, comments, everything, where all of that is going to be taking us on this particular build, transition, layout, and all that. I do like how everything's looking. You know, when you far away from the road and you look at how everything is just moving from the road, you see the next build, that's going to be another building, but then you see the height where we got the boat dock and all that, but far away you see the pool, you see the cul-de-sac. The movement and the transition of everything is flowing the way I want. So that's a plus already. It's just little things, little tweaks here and there, you know, that to make things work the way that I needed to work, you know, and just to make it just feel just right. Okay, now the main thing is curving this road. Originally, like we talked about early in the video, this was supposed to go all the way straight to attach to the other double bridge that would take you under the overpass and lead you to the other side of the island, right? And like I stated, I wanted to keep this now, so I had to, this is where all these design ideas here started shifting, because it did shift. At first I was going to keep all this water where this land was, that's where the building was going to be, but you know, new ideas, new way. I do feel comfortable of the decision that I made. I'm not regretting the decision at all. So see that double bridge in the back, those are the ones that that road was supposed to tie into. Originally, from the very beginning of the layout, of the idea of the coastal town, that road was intended to continue going straight. So now this is one of the sections right over here, and this is where a lot of my mind, and I really gotta, you know, walk it, design it well, because this curve I'm leading it towards this bridge, right, that we have here. Originally, this bridge was never meant to tie into a road. It was supposed to tie into a little walkway that leads to the building that was supposed to be more in here, more in this area. But now that I'm keeping that mountain, this section is at first I was like, okay, let me tie it into the road. But the thing that I don't like about it is it goes from a 4-wide road and it goes to a 2-lane road. And visually, and I know in real life, there are sections like that, you know, like the road's so wide and it slowly leads to a 2-lane, right? It just, boom, it just becomes a 2-lane road. But there's something in the transition. I don't know if there's something that I need to work, make the curve better. Maybe once I put greenery, I don't know. There's something off about it that I'm not enjoying. I'm truly not. Even looking at it right now, as I'm talking, as I'm looking at it and seeing what we're doing, I'm not 100% sold with the curve. Maybe I need to make the curve wider and then lead to a 2. Or maybe I need to rework now part of that bridge and make it a double, make it this. I truly don't know, and that's one of my dilemmas right now. By tweaking this build, leaving things that where I wanted, because once you have an original layout, an idea, and then you were designing that other side thinking that you were gonna just do all the changes that you were planning to do, but now that I'm not doing those changes, now I'm improvising here. I really and that's what I mean, you know. I need to come back, and by this point I was already playing for a long time, and I think I was just thinking in a hurry, no, just wanting to be done. And that's when my realization is that I need to take breaks. You need to take your time, you need to stop for a moment and come back later on. So we're getting close to that point that I started feeling that way, and I was like, you know what, I think I got enough. I think we got what I wanted at first. It was coming all the way from the pool, and to make it to this, finally make it to the front, and how the road layout was gonna be placing out. And now it's just gonna become all just, we need to start tweaking the areas, tweaking the sections. So here I took all the green hedges out, and I did kind of more like that bank that holds the water, because this is right on the water. We finally put the 2 little pillars over there where people can tie in their boats. And once I did that, as I feel, for me, things started to work a little better. I kind of like more now this center. I still don't know about the bridge. Maybe I do want to move the bridge 1 more square to the left, just to open things just a little bit. And sometimes 1 square can make a big difference, and that's now being super nitpicky, but I don't mind doing the work, you know. I want things to flow in a good way. So this is the bridge. This is from day one. All this was supposed to go through there, but the birds are safe, people. They're staying in the island. They're gonna stay. We're gonna have that nature into our build. So I'm grabbing the bridges because I needed the bridges. So we're gonna put now the palmwood bridge here, that I do feel now fits more aesthetically. It fits more of the area. It just started looking really good, and now we're getting things more situated, more together. We're adding a little more greenery, and then I started adding more of the hedges, and now we're just doing the final things that I was in my mind to see if I wanted, if the flow of the video was going well. But yeah, but here we are, you know. we are getting closer to that moment, and the things that I still need to work on, deciding on that bridge, if I want to take it 1 square to the left, open up a little more of the canal that's going around here. I do like the presentation. I like that we're gonna have a building there. I like that it's kind of surrounded with water. I like that a lot. The next thing to work on is that transition from a 4-lane road leading to a 2. I don't know if I want to work and make it a double bridge at the end and rework a little bit of the entrance. And what that means is I'm gonna rework part of the original entrance of the coastal town. And I don't mind doing the work. I think that's part of building. I think that's part of designing. And I think that's something that I do want to show you guys, that sometimes something that we have built months ago, you know, because by this time it's been now a month, or maybe a month and a half, maybe 2 months. I don't know how long we've been working on the coastal town. But sometimes once your initial design starts this way, and then you're coming around and now everything's supposed to tie it in together, sometimes we do have to tweak. Sometimes we have to change things, and I think that's important to always keep in mind, especially if you're really getting heavy in designing in Dinkum. I think that's going to be important, is knowing that we have to sometimes redo things that we have done already to make it fit the aesthetic and the design and new ideas that came up as you progress your island. Because when we started this journey in the coastal town, it's been changing, it's been improving, it's been, you know, moving things around, you know, ideas have come up as we progress the layout. And I think we're in this journey together, and I want to show you that it's not bad having to tweak things that we have done in the past. I've enjoyed the entrance, I've enjoyed the way everything has been laid out and placed, and it's been great. But I think it may be time to complement what we're building here and making it to the front with all the new updates, because one of the reasons also that mountain staying, because of the update, the waterfalls and all that, and learning things that we didn't know about Dinkum. So as we putting all that together, you know, is hopefully this is an encouragement that if you built something 2 months ago and now you're getting around to attach that to another section, but you're like, but it's not gonna look good, or maybe you don't feel like redoing all that work. I want to encourage you that it's not bad to have to redo something, because at the end I feel like it's always going to improve your island, and it's a challenge, and I think it's fun. And as we're pushing the game, and we're playing the game as a builder's game, as a designing game, as a creative tool for us to just to create amazing towns and builds and just be creative, as we continue to do that, I think we are gonna keep improving, and our planning in future builds is gonna keep getting better, and we then know how to kind of work around it and know that we can do it. But first, don't forget, take breaks. Truly take breaks. 1 hour, 2 hours, take a break, do something else. You don't want to stop playing Dinkum, but do quests, do this, do farming, do anything else. Go fishing. Get on your boat, go fishing, and relax in Dinkum. Put your music, relax, just fish, and make money by fishing. I think that's a good way to relax in the game. Just cast your line, just fish, and just enjoy what Dinkum has to offer. That I know designing is fun, but there's many other things that we can do to relax in game if you still want to play. But if not, come back the next day, fresh set of eyes, fresh mindset, and go at it again. And I think that's part of it. So I think part of this road right here is something I also kind of want to tweak a little better. I feel like it's not looking good enough, that curve. So that's something that we're gonna work on. Here I am testing the run with the jet ski, like going under the bridges. I wanted to see how it felt to do that, and like how it feels, how it looks. This is why I'm debating if I want to move it one more to the left and on that bridge, just tweaking things. And I think this is part of the why I wanted to do this test run with the jet ski, because I wanted to make sure like everything just was moving right and I could go along and it didn't feel bad. So now we're truly getting to the end of this video. I kind of wanted to look at the festive life because it just hit me out of nowhere, and I love the festive lights in this town, in the coastal town. It just fits so well. It just looks good, right? So I added that just to see where I could place it, where I need to do some tweaks, and there's some things that I may want to work on, but I think I've talked about almost everything that we're gonna lead to into the second video on this town. It's just things that we're gonna work on. We're gonna do a little walkthrough right here, and yeah, so I'm looking forward to your feedback. It's always insightful because there's so many things that I don't think about at the moment, and reading you guys, and like always, positive or negative, I love reading it because it does help. It doesn't matter if you feel like you don't want to say anything, just say it. It doesn't hurt my feelings, it doesn't hurt anything, because your taste is different than my taste, but you could bring something to the table that I not thought about. So here's that little entrance, but I may want to move it to the middle. This is the 2 little lane highway that turns. I may want to restructure this just a little bit right over here. That might be part of the plan. So, and this is exciting. To me, this is always going to be exciting. Just redoing part of the town layouts, flowing, just roads everywhere, bridges, all that is fun. But yeah, it's so exciting. And just to get you a heads up, Discord's open. So the description is going to be on the bottom of the video. If you want to sign up, it's a simple Discord. It's just a way if you guys want to reach out, if you guys want to post a picture and you guys want my opinion of something that you're building, go ahead and tag me. I made the best tag as possible. I don't have bots, I don't have this. It's going to be all very manual. I'm new to Discord, but if you guys have opinion and you guys want my opinion, post your picture, tag me on it. It'll give me a notification, and I promise you, it may take a little time, but I'm gonna look at it, give my opinion. There's a island sign up there. Just put in your name, sign up. I'll contact you, and we'll talk about it. It's gonna be first come serve kind of scenario, but yeah, but it's open. But guys, we made it to the end of the video, so thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to hit a like, subscribe if you want to see more videos, and we'll see you next time. Alright, see you later. Bye.